It was one of those mornings where nothing seemed to align. The rain poured down in relentless sheets, his son's lunchbox mysteriously disappeared between the kitchen and the car, and the school clock felt like it was racing ahead of his trusty but old sedan. By the time Ethan made the turn onto Maple Avenue, he could feel his nerves fraying at the edges. In the rearview mirror, he caught a glimpse of his son, Liam, sitting quietly in the back seat, swinging his little legs and humming a tune that was just a bit off-key. And then he heard it, the sharp wail of a siren blaring behind him. Ethan's stomach dropped like a stone. He quickly pulled over to the side of the road, heart racing, mumbling under his breath, "Just what I needed today." A patrol car parked behind him, lights flashing through the rain. In the mirror, he saw her step out, tall and assured, her navy uniform darkened by the downpour. She approached with a calmness that suggested she didn't need to prove herself, authority radiated from her presence. Ethan rolled down the window, trying to keep his composure. "Good morning, officer," he said, managing a strained smile. "Morning," she replied, tucking a wet strand of hair behind her cap. "Do you know why I pulled you over?" "Let me guess, is this a congratulatory visit for my parking prowess?" Her lips twitched slightly, but her tone remained steady. "You were going 40 in a 30 zone, and it looks like your brake light is out." "Fantastic," Ethan muttered, then clamped down on his frustration. "Sorry, it's been one of those mornings." She nodded, her gaze sweeping over the interior of the car before settling on Liam's small face peeking out from the back. "Is he yours?" "Yep. That's Liam. He's 5. Liam waved shyly. "Hi, police lady." The officer's lips broke into a genuine smile. "Hi there. Are you on your way to school?" He nodded, clutching his backpack like it was the most valuable thing in the world. Her attention shifted back to Ethan. "I'll need your license and registration, please." He rummaged through the glove compartment, hands shaking just a bit. The car was old, much like his insurance card. With a quiet sigh, he handed over the documents. As she walked back to her cruiser, Ethan rested his forehead on the steering wheel. Anger wasn't the issue, he was just exhausted. Exhausted from trying to keep everything afloat since his wife, Claire, passed away 2 years prior. Life didn't pause for grief, it just loaded on more responsibilities. A few moments later, she returned, clipboard in hand. "Mr. Collins, your driving record is clean. I could let you off with just a warning today, but that brake light is a safety concern." He nodded, ready to accept the ticket. Then she hesitated, her pen frozen in the air. "You're married, right?" The question took him by surprise. "I was." Her expression shifted, empathy mingling with curiosity. "I'm S." He offered a slight shrug. "It's all right. She passed away some time ago." A change flickered across her features, a brief flash of sympathy. She ripped the ticket from her pad but held onto it for a moment longer. "If you weren't married, I would," she began, pausing as the words lingered in the damp air. He raised an eyebrow. "You would what?" She chuckled a little awkwardly. "Forget it. I was just thinking I'd buy you a coffee to make up for the terrible start to your day." He found himself laughing, pleasantly surprised by the warmth in her suggestion. "I guess you could still do that. It's not illegal, right?" Her smile broadened. "Not yet." She finally handed him the ticket, her tone gentler now. "Just fix that light, okay? And drive safely. Liam needs you." He nodded, feeling her words linger in his mind long after she drove away. A week later, Ethan found himself at the local garage, watching as the mechanic replaced the brake light. Out of the corner of his eye, he spotted a figure heading toward the bakery across the street. The familiar confident stride and the ponytail under a navy cap made him recall her instantly. Without thinking, he made his way over. "Hey, officer, Daniels," she filled in, turning with a surprised smile. "Looks like you got the light fixed." "Couldn't risk another lecture," he joked. "And about that coffee, you still owe me one." She tilted her head, amusement shining through. You're quite PE. Single dads have to be, he replied playfully. We juggle survival and charm. That made her laugh, an honest, genuine laugh that brightened her eyes. Soon enough, they were seated by the bakery window, sharing steaming mugs and conversation. He discovered her first name was Grace, that she had grown up in the next town, lost her father at a young age, and joined the police force to become a source of safety for others. Ethan found himself opening up, sharing thoughts he hadn't confided to anyone else. He talked about how Liam sometimes wondered if his mom could watch over him from heaven and how hollow the house felt at night. Grace listened, not with pity, but with a deep understanding. When their cups were empty, she turned to him, a thoughtful look on her face. You know, I meant what I almost said that day. He raised an eyebrow. Which part? That if you weren't married, I would have asked you out. But maybe I should have said, if you were ready. The words lingered in the air between them, not heavy, but filled with promise. He smiled, a warmth that reached the tired corners of his eyes. Maybe I am. Months flew by, and the rain returned, cascading over the familiar stretch of Maple Avenue. This time, when Grace pulled her patrol car up next to Ethan's sedan, it wasn't about writing a ticket. Liam came running toward her, waving a crayon drawing, her in uniform, standing proudly next to his dad. Grace crouched down, her heart swelling with joy, and asked, Did you draw this all by yourself? Liam nodded with pride. You make Dad smile again. Ethan, watching from behind, met her eyes. For once, the morning felt neither rushed nor burdened. Instead, it felt like the start of something new, quiet, steady, and real. And although she never completed her thought that day on the roadside, they both understood how it could have ended.